Hello, Bruce.
Hi, Simon.
How are you today?
I'm feeling super, thank you very much. How are you?
I'm also feeling super, thank you very much.
Welcome to Factoraly, people.
Yes, hello everyone. If it's your first time tuning in or your 110th, I think we're on time tuning in.
Ooh.
Welcome.
Factoraly. Simon, what's Factoraly?
Factoraly is a wonderful repository of knowledge and information around a particular subject, produced and presented by two voice-overy blokes who like talking about facts.
Yes. Nerds, basically.
Essentially nerds, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
One of those voice-overy chaps is called Bruce Fielding.
And the other one's called Simon Wells. Now, that's confusing because we both said each other's names.
Yeah. We're just testing our regular listeners.
Actually, Bruce Fielding is my alias.
Your alter ego.
My alter ego.
What's your superhero name then?
My superhero name is... Oh, that's a good question. What would be my superhero name?
Adman.
Yes, Adman. Able to create advertising in a single bound.
Yes, there you go.
Yeah, so what would be yours?
Not sure, actually. It'd be far too easy to say voice man, wouldn't it?
Voice man. Yes, why not?
Go on then. Voice man. So if you haven't guessed it already, this week's topic, we're talking about superheroes.
So Simon, what is a superhero?
It's a hero that's super.
So I had real trouble with this.
Yeah.
Because is a superhero somebody who has powers or is given powers or inherits powers? Or what is a superhero? Yes.
Some of the above. It's one of those things that's debated by people far nerdier than us. It's a character.
See, I think a superhero. It's difficult because there are superheroes which are people who have inherited or been given powers.
Yes.
But there are also superheroes who aren't human.
Yes. And there are also, it's tricky. Superheroes are not necessarily the same thing as comic book heroes.
No.
And vice versa.
Because you could argue, couldn't you, that Achilles was a superhero.
Yes. Yeah, exactly.
Because he was given powers, a sort of invulnerability, apart from obviously the bit. And Hercules, again, immortal, given powers.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, we've always told stories of people with superhuman strength or skill or ability. You know, in the Bible, you have Samson, who has ridiculous amounts of strength that are somehow directly proportionate to the length of his hair.
Yeah.
Or you've got, all of those Greek myths, like you've mentioned, Hercules, Achilles, all of those guys.
Well, then you've got Valkyries, who are actually normal women who are given powers.
Yes.
There's Moses.
Yes, absolutely.
If you think about it, Moses was given powers.
Yes, absolutely. You've got your Norse mythology, all of the accounts of Odin and Thor, the god of thunder.
Well, you see, but except it's really difficult to differentiate between gods and superheroes.
Yes, it is. Yeah, it's a tricky one. So the first time we hear the word superhero, it's not actually in reference to a superhero. So I looked up the origin. When did we first use this word and in what context?
Yeah.
Etymologically speaking, the word super means above or beyond. The word hero comes from the Greek hero, meaning a demigod, essentially.
Oh, okay.
So a superhero is beyond a demigod.
Yes.
And it was first used in 1899, nothing to do with caped crusaders or masked heroes or Superman or anything like that. It was part of the Dreyfus affair.
Okay.
In the 1890s was a political thing going on in France around a French military chap who was wrongly accused of something or other. And that's
just
technical, isn't it?
Dreyfus.
Look up Dreyfus affair.
Or watch the film.
There you go. And there was a particular quote in this hearing where someone said, "All the world knows that Colonel Picquart is a hero, but if Colonel Picquart is a hero, then Matthew Dreyfus is a superhero."
Okay.
So it wasn't anything to do with what we're talking about, but that's when it first was used.
No, because you also see that in newspapers, don't you? You see people say, "Oh, so-and-so was a superhero."
Yeah, absolutely.
Because heroes are great. I mean, there have always been heroes.
Yeah.
But hero is basically something that you can't give yourself. It has to be something that other people think you're a hero, doesn't it?
Yeah, you've done something to warrant being called that by other people.
To earn the title.
Yes, exactly, yeah. the first time the word superhero is used in the context that we're talking about, you know, masked, caped, fictional characters, crusaders or something, things like that, is actually sort of the early 1900s into the 1920s, you know, long before we have DC Comics or Marvel or anything like that.
Yes.
And there's no one particular origin point. You know, we've talked about all of these people, we've talked about these sort of people of great strength and heroism, but you've always sort of had characters who, I don't know, fight for the right of the people, who fight for good. You get Robin Hood, who's not a superhero, but you sort of, you put together the Norse mythology mixed with a bit of Robin Hood, mixed with a bit of, I don't know, King Arthur, mixed with a bit of, in the old American West, you had local vigilantes who would put on masks and mete out justice because the local law system was a bit naff.
Again, not superhero.
Not superhero, but you put all of those things together, you combine them, you have sort of the penny dreadful pulp fiction magazines of Victorian England. You know, you have these bizarre characters like Spring-Heeled Jack, who was actually originally a villain. Do you know about Spring-Heeled Jack?
No.
Oh, okay, diversion. In 1837, I think it was, this is all from memory now, Spring-Heeled Jack was this villain, this character who appeared in Victorian London folklore.
Yes.
There were people who were claiming that this mysterious figure jumped out of the shadows and held up their coach or robbed them or murdered them or whatever.
Yes.
And he had the ability to jump really high. It talks about this shadowy figure appearing out of nowhere and then leaping over a 9-foot wall to escape.
Oh, wow.
And these were records. These were actually in the sort of the Jack the Ripper era, you know.
Yes, yes.
And this legend became crazier and crazier. People started claiming that he breathed fire, his eyes glowed, he had sharp talons, all this kind of stuff.
Yes.
He eventually is written up as a sort of a vigilante, almost like a Batman type character in the penny dreadful magazines of the early 1900s.
I've also seen this portrayed as a time-traveling alien.
Sure. Standard, why not?
Yeah.
So, you know, all of these things put together, they're all combined and they're all linked, and some of them have strange supernatural seeming powers, some of them don't. But when you mix them all together, you eventually end up with people like Superman.
Yeah. Because there are other people. There's a character called the Shadow.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Who had an alter ego. Well, his alter ego was the Shadow. It was actually a chap called Lamont Cranston. Great name.
Oh, nice.
Who appeared on radio in the 30s. Actually, he was in a comic strip in a newspaper before that. But his big thing was on radio. And there was this wonderful intro, which I'll put. Actually, we have shown this week's show notes are going to be insane.
Yes,
but we do have show notes on our blog page on our website, which is factoraly.com.
Factoraly.com.
Yeah, and if you go there, I've got a recording of the beginning of the radio show, which has got this most amazing voice that goes, "What evil lurks in the hearts of men? The Shadow knows."
Ooh, nice.
And it's a chap who just appears from the shadow. He's got the power of invisibility and to cloud men's minds is another of his powers.
Okay.
So that was in 1930.
Yeah. But then even before that, you've got people like Mandrake and the Phantom in the late 20s who do have
magical and special powers. Yeah.
But yes, it's an ongoing debate because when you get, I don't know, let's say you get a Marvel movie where you've got Iron Man fighting alongside Thor.
Yes.
Thor is a god.
Yeah.
Iron Man is just a rich guy who is good with technology. Neither of those are really superheroes, but they do fit very well into that whole superhero genre.
Yes.
So it's a bit ambiguous.
Iron Man is basically Batman.
Yes.
If you think about it, rich guy can afford lots of tech.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, very much so.
But are they? They're not really superheroes, are they? Because they've just got lots of money.
Yeah, exactly. That is their superpower.
That is
their superpower is wealth.
Yes.
So the first time we get someone who you can definitely say, yes, that is an archetypal superhero.
I bet you're going to get this wrong.
Oh, no. Well, I was going to say Superman.
Oh, yeah, you got it wrong.
Did I? Who were you going to say?
So Superman appeared in 1938.
Yes.
It was Siegel and Schuster. They were 17 at the time.
Oh, really? They were that young?
Yeah.
Wow.
They were very young. But they had probably read a book that was published in 1930
Oh, okay.
called The Gladiator.
Oh.
Now, go and look this up. I'll put a link in the show notes. It's so cool. So, The Gladiator, published in 1930 by a guy called Philip Wiley,
Right.
features a superhero called Hugo Danner. And Hugo Danner is created by his dad. He's a biochemist.
Right.
And he creates this serum which he gives to his mum while she's pregnant with him.
Right.
And it gives the baby that's born
Yeah.
amazing superpowers of super strength, being able to leap tall buildings.
Yeah.
And the nice thing about this novel is that it's all about how you would grow up having those powers. And eventually Hugo Danner can't live in society and he has to go somewhere else because it's too much for him. But I've only just researching this, I discovered this book, and I've started to read it.
Of course you have.
There's a thing about a super cat, which you don't need to worry about that. But it is the proto Superman.
Right.
It even has a thing in it where Hugo decides he wants some cash.
Yeah.
See if you know what this scene is. He decides he wants some cash, so he sort of wraps a mask around his head. And he goes to a boxing competition where there's prize money of $100. And he enters himself under an assumed name and wins the $100. And that scene was lifted completely for Spider-Man.
Yes, I recognise that, yeah. That's quite a trope, isn't it? I mean, you sort of think of, Wolverine in the X-Men goes through a sort of a fighting for pay era,
Yeah.
Right, so this is 1930.
1930.
Gosh.
A book called The Gladiator.
Right.
Please read it. It's so good.
Wonderful. Okay, well, there you go then. Superman was not the first superhero.
But let's assume he was.
Let's assume he's the first one that people know about.
Let's assume that. 1938, right?
Right, yeah. So 1938, you get a comic book called Action Comics #1. Mm-hmm. And that single issue that is sort of widely considered to be the beginning of the popularity of the superhero comic book genre. Superman first appeared in a comic book that wasn't just about Superman. He occupied the first 13, I think, pages of this comic book, which had loads of other people in it as well. Yeah. He just turned out to be the most popular one.
Yeah.
So this whole area of comic books is just it's so big. I'm scared to even touch it, really.
Well, comic books are a whole different thing. I mean, I once went to a talk by Stan Lee. Many.
Did you?
Yeah. Huh. At the National Film Theatre.
Right.
And it was like an audience with Stan Lee. It was sensational. There were some proper nerds.
Yeah.
In the audience, though.
Yeah.
Who were like, so on page 17 of Hulk 27.
Yes. Okay.
It says.
Yes.
Anyway.
And he'll probably say, I don't know, I wrote that 50 years ago in a slightly drunken stupor and I can't remember the details, sorry.
Well, that was exactly. But what Stan Lee has always said is that Marvel superheroes are different to DC superheroes in that if someone sees a DC superhero walking down the street, they will go, wow, look, it's a superhero. Whereas if they see a Marvel superhero walking down the street, they'll go, who's the nut in the suit?
Brilliant.
So Marvel superheroes have always been very down to earth and very much in the moment and part of sort of reality.
Right, interesting.
Whereas DC isn't always like that.
Yeah. I'm not really a comic book kind of guy. I love the movies. I love all of the Superman, Batman movies. I love all of the Avengers movies. I love all of it.
Yes.
But I've never actually sat down and read a comic book. I'm not quite that nerdy.
Yeah.
So I don't know the origin of some of these things, but I always thought it was quite strange that Thor ended up in Marvel comic books because, as you say, everyone else is relatively down to earth and ordinary and so on and so on. And then all of a sudden you've got a Norse god who crops up from like 5,000 years ago Norse mythology.
And then you get Galactus and there's all sorts of weird stuff. But a lot of this stuff is very hard to do visually. I mean, you can do it as a comic.
Yeah.
Because you can draw imaginary things.
Absolutely, yeah.
The other place you can draw the imagination is on radio.
Of course, yes.
So a lot of these things actually went on to radio.
Yes, you already mentioned the what was the radio show you quoted?
The Shadow.
The Shadow, that's right.
But
yeah.
Superman was also on radio.
Yes, that's right. Yes.
In fact, Superman moved to radio. Like I said, he came out in 1938. What happened in we say 1939,
Well,
the Americans would say 1941.
Sure. It's interesting, isn't it? The rise of Superman and who's a particularly American superhero, isn't he?
Yes.
These things do crop up, at the end of the Great Depression, and just as there are some rumblings going on in Europe.
Yes.
Leading up to the Second World War. It's quite timely.
It is. And because we're voiceovers, which we mentioned earlier, there was a guy called Bud Collyer who was the voice of Superman wherever you saw him or heard him.
Yeah.
So he was the voice of Superman and Clark Kent, obviously.
Yeah.
With no spoilers or anything.
I think most people know.
So he would do like a tenor voice for Clark Kent, and then he kind of dropped down into this bass for Superman.
Oh, great, yes. What a distinction.
And he was doing Superman on radio. He was doing it. They did a cartoon on TV just before the war, and it was a cartoon in cinemas as well.
Okay.
And Superman's enemies before this were mad scientists and sort of large machines and robots and stuff. 1941, bam, Japanese.
Oh.
So a lot of Superman's enemies, or the people that he was defeating after
Right.
1941, were Japanese.
Okay, interesting.
And same voice. Bud Collyer did the same voice for all of it.
Huh. Well, now, you speaking of voices, you've already done your intro for The Shadow.
Yes.
I'm just going to have to say this. Faster than a speeding bullet, more powerful than a locomotive, able to leap tall buildings at a single bound. Look up in the sky. It's a bird, it's a plane, it's Superman.
So that was what Bud Collyer used to say.
Fantastic. And now this is something interesting. I kind of knew this, but I'd kind of forgotten it. Superman didn't always fly.
No, he jumped.
He could leap a tall building in a single bound.
Yes.
It wasn't until X amount of time later on that they decided, wouldn't it be fun if he actually flew?
Yes.
And I can't picture that. I can't reconcile the idea of a Superman who just runs everywhere and then takes a really big jump. And then Batman appears in 1939. It's all kicking off in the late 30s, isn't it?
Yes, yeah. Good first name.
Yeah, it's not bad, is it?
In fact, there's two Bruces, which I quite like.
Yes.
Wayne and Banner.
Banner, of course. The Hulk,
Yes,
yeah.
the Hulk.
Yeah.
Except they call him David Banner on TV, which I don't get.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, you're right. The 70s TV series.
Yeah, his name is David Bruce Banner.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Oh, that's strange. Oh, well.
See, you're not into comics. I was so into comics when I was a kid.
Were you?
Oh, absolutely massively.
Oh.
Especially American comics. I didn't get into British comics quite. I mean, I started off in British comics, but they weren't really superhero comics.
It is quite an Americanized concept,
Yeah,
isn't it, really?
It is. I mean, we got into it later on. We kind of copied the Americans with things like sort of 2000 AD and stuff like that, where we
Right.
had heroes with skills and powers. But it's a really, it is actually a properly American start to this anyway, certainly.
Yes. You mentioned Stan Lee earlier on. It's interesting, I think, because of the success, the massive success of all the Marvel movies that we've had over the last 20-odd years. I think there are people who know everything there is to know about Marvel, but purely through the movies, not through actually the comic books.
The Marvel movie universe.
Yes, the Marvel Cinematic Universe, the MCU.
Yes.
And Stan Lee has sort of become something of a god himself to the fans of those movies.
Yes, the late great Stan Lee.
Absolutely.
Yeah. But he started off with two other guys.
Yes.
He started off with a guy called Jack Kirby.
Yeah.
Who was the artist really.
Yeah.
And Steve Ditko, who was another artist.
That's right, yeah.
And so Stan, Jack and Steve were kind of like the core.
Yeah.
I know you've been to my house. Have you seen the artwork on my wall of Conan?
No.
I've got a piece of artwork on my wall by Jack Kirby of Conan.
Really?
Yeah.
How did you acquire that?
Well, I used to go to comic events and things like that.
Did you?
To buy and sell comics and stuff.
It's interesting. I learn a new thing about you every time. I can't really picture you as a comic book nerd at all.
Well, yes. Nerd, yes. Comic books, maybe. Yes, I've got some Jack Kirby
That's
artwork.
great. But Stan Lee, he started off as just an office assistant. He was a 16-year-old office assistant who sort of ended up, doing some writing and kind of accidentally became an editor when a previous editor of the company left.
Yes.
And he's, he has just become legend.
Well, Marvel started off in sort of in 1939.
Yes.
It was a company called Timely Comics.
Timely Comics. I noticed that when I said, that's quite timely earlier on. I suddenly thought, that rings a bell.
Yeah. So then that in 1951 became Atlas Comics.
Okay.
And then in 1961, that finally became the Marvel that we know and love.
Yeah. And that's when it all happened. That's when Stan Lee's character creation sort of really kicked off.
Yes.
And you get characters like Spider-Man and Iron Man and
yes.
the Hulk.
And the Hulk.
All of these people, they're all products of the 60s, quite a lot later than Superman and Batman, who were a clear, 20-odd years earlier.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. I remember at this thing I went to with Stan Lee that one of the geeks asked the question, is when in such and such a issue on page such and such, the Hulk throws a rock at a removal van and the name on the removal van is Kirby and Lee. and the rock breaks the van in half and the Kirby bit breaks off, but the Lee bit carries on with the truck. So is that when you split up with Jack?
Yeah.
And Stan just said, I don't remember.
Oh, come on. Oh, wow. That's brilliant. This is sort of where we start the whole movie revolution, that we've had comic books, we've had radio shows, and then inevitably these things become TV series and films. I remember as a kid watching a movie of Spider-Man, which was created in 1977, and it starred a fellow called Nicholas Hammond, who actually played Friedrich von Trapp in The Sound of Music.
Okay. Which level? What number kid?
He was the eldest. He was the eldest brother.
Boy. Okay.
Yeah, that's right. I don't know sort of what happened to his acting career in the preceding 10 years, but at some point or other he became Spider-Man.
He suddenly re-emerged.
So in 77 there was a feature-length movie followed by a short series of Spider-Man starring Nicholas Hammond. And I remember watching that as a kid and being really enamored with the whole thing. But, the movies were all sort of fairly one-off and here and there.
Well, there was TV shows as well.
Well, yes, that's true, yeah.
And the TV shows were early. I mean, especially in America.
Yeah.
Batman. I mean, Batman was a massive TV show.
The 60s TV show,
Yes.
Of course, yeah. Thwack, pow, bam. With, you told me a fact about the guy who plays the Joker in that series with the moustache.
Oh, yes.
What's his name?
Cesar Romero.
That's right, yes. Refused to shave off his characteristic moustache. So
he wouldn't shave off the moustache, so they basically put the makeup all over it.
Yeah, if you look closely on those old 60s episodes, there was a funny thing on his upper lip.
Yes.
But then obviously you get Christopher Reeve playing Superman in 78 and into the early 80s. You get what I think is still the most iconic Batman movie in 1989 with Michael Keaton and Jack Nicholson and Kim Basinger and all the rest of it. And that sort of starts the whole series of Batman movies, which again, I loved. And, it was always an exciting thing with each new Batman movie during the 90s. It was really exciting to see who's going to play him next,
Yes.
But then those were all sort of fairly standalone, every few years you'd get a movie. And then Marvel, in the mid-noughties, just absolutely takes over the whole thing. Marvel Studios is created. They sort of had a couple of false starts. They did a couple of Fantastic Four movies and Hulk movies, which, weren't great successes. But then out came Iron Man in 2008, and that just kick-started the whole legacy of the MCU and
Marvel taking shed loads of cash off lots and lots and lots of people.
Essentially, yes. I looked this up. As of, I don't know why this particular date, but as of July 2024, Marvel Studios has grossed $34 billion from its Marvel Cinematic Universe
so much
movies.
Money. There's a whole load of TV series based on this stuff as well. And sometimes you don't understand what's happening in the films if you haven't been watching the TV.
Yeah, they do tie into each other, don't they? Yeah.
Which is very annoying.
And I think this is part of the reason why it works, other than, incredible visual effects and so on and so on. They all tie into each other. If you've seen Iron Man and then you see Thor popping up and then you see all of these different people popping up who are eventually going to create the Avengers.
And then you watch the titles until the very end, and then you see that there's another little bit coming on, which is featuring
leads into
something
the next
else.
one.
Yeah,
exactly. It's it's very easy to get hooked on those.
Great story about Wonder Woman.
Oh, go on.
There are 2 great stories about Wonder Woman. One I won't use on this show.
Okay.
But the other one I will, which is that the guy who invented Wonder Woman also invented the lie detector.
I beg your pardon?
Yes.
Huh.
So he actually invented a machine that tested your sweat rate, your heart rate, and all that stuff.
Yeah.
When asked questions. So he actually created a lie detector. And the thing about Wonder Woman is that she has a lasso of truth.
That compels you to tell the truth.
Which
yes.
compels you to tell the truth.
How wonderful. Which one came first? I suppose the lie detector.
Yes, the lie detector came first.
That's great.
Yeah.
Well, what a career.
But there are some other superheroes that you don't really hear much about. Things like Bouncing Boy, which is a DC one, which is basically a bloke that bounced.
Right. Fine.
There's a Scottish one called Aberdeen Angus, who's half human, half beef.
That's amazing.
There's Arm Fall Off Boy.
Well, that sounds useful.
Yeah, so he would use his left arm would fall off and his right arm would use it to hit people.
Oh, good grief.
That's a DC one.
Right.
They tried all these things, Matter Eater Lad. So Matter Eater Lad could eat anything.
Right.
There was Milkman Man.
What?
There's just so many of them. But one thing that we haven't talked about is the thing is, if you give somebody superpowers, then who's going to fight them? What enemies should they have? So at the same time as you invent superheroes, you also have to invent supervillains.
Yes, of course you do. Yes, it's a bit pathetic to have someone with the powers of Superman just fighting local criminals, isn't it?
Yes, exactly. So Superman's enemy is basically a very rich guy, a bit like Batman.
Yeah,
Lex Luthor is a rich guy.
Yeah.
But he's a evil rich guy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Green Goblin is the father of Peter Parker's friend.
Yes, right, yeah.
So Spider-Man's enemy is his friend's dad.
As is, I think, Dr. Octavius, who becomes Dr. Octopus.
Yes.
A lot of these people sort of become villainous, don't they?
Yes.
In the same way that the superhero becomes a superhero, there are often these backstories of, well, I was just trying to do something good for humanity, and then it corrupted me, and then I became this arch villain.
Yeah, but some people like Circe and Cyclops and Medusa, they're all people who have been given superpowers, and they don't use them for good.
Yeah.
There's Darth Vader.
Oh, are we lumping in Star Wars with superheroes?
I don't know, you see. Is he a supervillain?
I mean, he has magical powers and he wants to overthrow the universe, so
yes.
Yeah, that kind of fits, doesn't it?
So is Luke Skywalker a superhero?
Somehow that doesn't sit right with me.
No, but he does have this kind of the Force going for him, doesn't he?
Yeah, he's fighting evil
that's
with weird mystical... It does kind of fit the definition, doesn't it?
Yeah, and then Batman has things like the Joker and Penguin,
Yep.
Neither of whom have real superpowers.
No, they're just criminal masterminds.
But then you get people like Magneto.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
So is Magneto a supervillain? Yeah, I guess he is.
He is, yeah, because he has
a superpower.
Which he is using for evil instead of for good.
So you have to have, if you have superheroes, you have to have supervillains. Yeah. And ideally, the supervillain should have at least equal, if not better than, powers than the superhero they're fighting.
Which is why it often takes a team of superheroes to get together to combat them.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's fascinating.
Yeah.
Would you rather be a superhero or a supervillain?
Me personally?
Yes.
I'd have to say superhero. Because you're guaranteed to win.
No. As an actor, you see.
Oh, I see, as an actor. Oh, yeah, bad guy all the way.
Yes.
Absolutely.
You've got to play bad.
Yeah, it's way more fun.
Yeah, absolutely. So, we've had a superhero stand for Parliament.
Have we?
We have. Captain Beanie.
Okay.
So Captain Beanie, he's from Port Talbot.
As all the best superheroes are.
and he has a thing about baked beans.
Right.
He's been on blind dates. He gets around, this guy. He climbed Snowdon carrying baked beans. Mostly he does these things in aid of charity.
Okay.
But he's been a candidate in local and general elections throughout Wales. In the 1991 Neath by-election, he actually came last with 262 votes. He founded the New Millennium Bean Party, of which he was the only member in the year 2000.
This is very odd.
He's an odd chap. He paints himself orange, like a baked bean. His name's Barry Kirk. He's the same age as me.
And what qualifies him as a superhero?
Because he wears a cape and a costume.
Fine. That's all you need, isn't it?
Yeah, he's got a golden cape, pants, gloves and boots. I mean, he's raised about £100,000 for charity.
Okay, well, fair enough then.
So you can't knock him.
Yeah. Well, I don't think Marvel Studios will be quaking in their boots anytime soon.
Do you think Marvel Studios would be happy with one called Badger?
Okay, go on.
So they came up with this character whose skeleton was replaced with metal.
Right.
And they thought, what can we call this character? He's got like claws and like very stiff hair.
Right.
And he's invulnerable to bullets and stuff.
I can see where this is going.
And they thought, I know, we'll call him Badger. And somebody said, no, it's not a great name, really. Have you thought of other names? And they went, well, we thought of Wolverine. I don't know whether that would work.
So Wolverine was originally Badger.
Yeah, Badger.
Yeah, that's not exactly terrifying.
No, not really. I know another interesting fact about Batman.
Go on.
He created Melbourne.
Melbourne.
The city.
Right.
Man called Mr. Batman.
Right.
There's a guy who's an Australian grazier, entrepreneur and explorer. And he was one of the main people who founded Melbourne, a guy called John Batman.
Really?
Yeah, there's Batman Park, there's Batman's Hill. There's all these places called Batman in Melbourne.
Well, I suppose if we go to a different definition of the word bat.
Yes.
Ooh, this ties in nicely with our episode on bats. Just as well, we didn't actually go too far down the Batman route because we're doing it here. A Batman, before you get the character of Batman.
It was somebody who looked after your kit and stuff.
Yes, exactly.
When you were in the army.
Yes, that's right. I remember going to, I think it was Eltham Palace, and as you're walking through the corridors, there was a door that had Batman written on it. And I thought, oh, that's really exciting. They've got a connection to superheroes. And the guide said, no, that's the store cupboard for the Batman who, looked after the chap's equipment. I was, oh, that's disappointing. That would be a totally different superhero, wouldn't it?
Yes.
Here comes Batman, looking after your supplies and equipment.
Yes. Laying out your suits for you. I'm flat out of superhero facts now.
Yep, me too. I'm done.
You're done. You've hit your kryptonite.
Yes, there we go. Yeah, yeah.
Well, thank you very much for listening.
Yes, indeed.
I hope you've enjoyed this one. If you do like this kind of thing, then write to us. You can let us know at hello@factoraly.com.
Mm-hmm.
Or you can go to our Facebook page and tell us there. And you can also, we've probably made some mistakes. By all means, tell us.
Please do.
Yeah.
If you have enjoyed this and you want to come back and listen to some more episodes in the future, please hit the subscribe button and you'll get a lovely little notification every Thursday morning to say that a new episode has popped up.
And if you did like this one, I know Captain America's only got the 1 star. But if you like this,
yes,
we'd like 5, please.
Yes, 5 shields.
5 shields, and tell us why.
Yeah. So thank you so much for listening to us today. Please come again next time for another fun-filled factual episode of
Factoraly.
Bye for now.
Au revoir.